So everything has been in the tank. It makes you wonder, how long does Veve actually have? So one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about with kind of this crypto winter, or whatever that we've been in, is it possible to get out of this winter? If you live in Minnesota, you'll know that it snowed a couple days ago, so maybe it's impossible. We're stuck in this winter forever. I don't know. But really, it's something that I've been thinking about. Is there a clock? Obviously, there's a lot of things we don't know, but let's discuss it. Let's think through it. So, as you know right now, a lot of the VV collectibles, NFTs, everything are really down. The OMI token is really, really down. But really, overall crypto is down from its overall highs more than 50%. A lot of the altcoins are, 90% down, even more than that. So it's been pretty painful if you like cryptocurrency. Now, we've seen a little bit of an uptick for Bitcoin and Ethereum, some of the major ones lately, but we don't know, right? And I've discussed some of the things. There's a lot of things, macro events that are happening right now, and it's a speculative environment. It's a new technology. We really don't know where it's going to go. But let's specifically talk about Veve. And is there a clock here? Do they only have so much time? Is it ticking? Is it out? Is time up? So I've kind of got three things I want to discuss. So the first one is it does feel like, if you're on Twitter, if you watch some of the other YouTube channels that discuss this, if you're looking at your wallet or vault balance, it doesn't look good. It's painful. So it makes you wonder, like, how long will people stay? Is there something here? Can they get new users? I don't know. So let's kind of figure out, is there a timeline here that they have to follow before it all falls apart? Once again, this is speculation, but it's fun to kind of think through some of these things. So the two biggest things I think that would affect it would be if they run out of money, or I think if they are not ready to participate and really take advantage of the next bull run. So we know crypto is cyclical. We're kind of obviously down in the winter. Well, really all markets are cyclical, but we know we're in the bear market right now. Once it hits a bull market, if Veve is quote unquote kind of, I think, not ready to go and then had to wait through an entire another cycle, that seems to me like, maybe they've missed it. Maybe this is not the right opportunity. So what are we thinking about that? From the money perspective, we don't know. So let's think about that. We know that it seems like they are making money. So I only say that because there's a lot of startup companies that, are pre-revenue or really, really bleeding cash. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. We don't know about these things, but we do know that on a regular basis, they are able to sell NFTs. They're making money from the existing market. We don't really know how much, but it's thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And on drop days, we don't know how much Apples are taking or the license, all these different things, but they're definitely making, potentially tens of thousands of dollars on drop days. Other days they're making money, maybe not as much as they used to, but there's definitely enough cash flow there, I would think. In addition, if they were to bring in money, it seems like they probably could last 12, 18, 24 months. So they're the types of things that they're probably looking at. I bet you they're okay from that. That's just my guess. That's just my gut feeling. So let's kind of put that over here for now. And let's talk about the other thing, which would be, when is the next bull run? Well, most people think that in a year there's going to be the halving of Bitcoin, and that really is going to generate a lot of interest. People think that kind of might be the start of another bull run. Obviously, there are other macro events that might prevent that, but that kind of feels like the next obvious time, which is about 12 months away. So when you look at Veve and Akomi, it feels like they kind of got 12 months here to get their quote-unquote act together. So what does that mean? So that brings me kind of to my second point. If you're kind of looking at this 12 months window, what has to happen for them to be ready for this next bull run? The first thing is the OMI token. You have to have that ready and rocking in order for it to go. In other words, in this last one, it was on a couple obscure exchanges, and it was difficult to buy the coin. Still is very difficult to buy the coin. So they need to get on some exchanges, some larger exchanges. We've talked about this over and over again, and I feel like that has to be done in the next 12 months. Now, there's this kind of chicken and egg scenario they've all talked about is, we need utility. before we put it on exchange, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't doubt that's accurate. That's probably completely accurate. So then let's just take the next logical step then. They've got to somehow integrate OMI and Veve much more tightly, because they basically aren't at all. And we've seen different proposals. Supposedly, I think they might even have another white paper coming out. They've talked about the integration now of MCP and OUP. All these things are right there. They've talked about potentially next quarter they could have OMI to NFT ready, which would allow you to use OMI to buy NFTs, and there could be some sort of burning mechanism and other things allowed there. So all these things are imminent, and I think that they are really under the gun here. So once again, if it's a 12 months deadline, they've got to get all that rolled out maybe next quarter. Then they got to put it into a larger exchange. So the third thing I would say is actually the VeVeVerse. Now we know that it's going to be basically our vault on steroids, right? You're going to be able to walk around outside, potentially invite people. Hopefully you'll be able to show your comics. It really needs to be more. And I've talked a little bit about some of this, which is I'm more interested. Obviously we want to see the rollout of each piece, but I'm interested to see their process in rolling it out and hitting each of these different deadlines, because that is showing us that they're going to be able to continue to roll out more and more functionality. So whatever we do see round one of the VeVeVerse, are we able to get to, version 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, etc., and do all these necessary things? Because, love it or hate it, the audience continually is very hungry and is going to want to see more. So they need to have processes and people in place that can continue to deliver. But really, in this ecosystem, we have spatial and we've seen that, but it's not completely integrated potentially like we would see with Veve. It'll be very interesting to see if the VeVeVerse can be rolled out to a point at which it's very attractive to even other people that might want to experience that. And that could potentially show us that they're, quote unquote, ready for the next bull run. So then the last thing I would say that we are still waiting for, and all this is important, and I didn't even mention interoperability and some of the other things that are important. True ownership is an important thing. We know that's a huge issue amongst the users that we have right now. But the really third thing that I'd say is we need to see them be able to attract new users. We haven't seen this in a long time. Basically, we've been bleeding users. We want to go and get new users, and we want to be able to see it not at like some crazy substantial level where they're, onboarding 10,000, new users a day. No, we don't really want that. But some sort of sustainable pattern in which we're seeing them get new users. I think that would go a long way in proving that they're, quote unquote, ready for the next bull run. And there's been all kinds of issues. The KYC right now, they say is the way at least it works in the app right now is preventing people. And they're probably right from onboarding. So once they kind of change up that workflow, then they'd be able to do more marketing programs, and it's kind of chicken and egg there as well. Once again, all that needs to be done. So the three things I would say once again is getting the OMI token on exchanges and having utility for it. Having the VeVeVerse up and running, but even more than that, showing us that they have the ability to add functionality there on not necessarily even on a week-by-week basis, but by a quarterly basis. And the last thing, of course, is show the ability to find and attract and then, of course, retain new users. Those are the three things I really think they need to have in place over the next 12 months. That's rough. They've got to get to work. We know that they're working hard. I know how hard it is to run a company. You're always, running around with your hair on fire. So it'll be interesting to watch. I'll be watching as well. Thanks for watching this video. I'll talk to y'all soon.